A standoff involving an armed suspect with a 1-year-old ended safely in Sumner County. This happened Monday, and deputies say they arrived to the home due to reports of an inappropriate contact with the juvenile. They say Walter Lewis locked himself into a bathroom with a child, and he sent a message to family members saying they would never see him or the child again. When deputies tried to intervene, Lewis came out with a large knife, then threatening suicide. They were able to arrest him, but he was taken to a hospital after self-inflicted injuries. The child was not hurt.